the friend that I'm staying with, LJ, we were talking about books that she has on her bookshelf, and this is a book from her mother. She bought it when she was younger, and I believe the copy went missing, and so her mother bought her a new copy, and it's called Rainbow Rider. Oh, there's a bit of glare on the screen there. Can you see that? Okay, and the reason I really love this book is because the illustrations are absolutely fantastic. I love the illustrations in this book so much. Okay, so give me a shout if you're here and I will say hello to you. Okay, gosh, even just the title page, right? Seriously. Look at that, you guys. Look at how beautiful that is. It's just a sunset. It's so normal, but so fantastic. Okay, yeah, I'm going to move a little bit that way. So then you can really see the glorious illustrations because they really are incredible. Okay, and I like the dedication. It kind of reminds me of, well, it's got the name of a very wonderful friend of mine, so I'm going to read it anyway because I love her. Heidi heard it first. Heidi loves it best. This one is for Heidi. Okay. I love Heidi. In the time before time, the Rainbow Rider lived near the edge of the desert by the foot of the painted hills. Look at that. Look at those illustrations. Can you see that? He was the one who caught the drops of water that occasionally spilled from the desert sky. He was the one who bent them into an arch like his mighty hunting bow. Then he would fling the arch, shimmering and shining, back to the sky where it hung from one end of the earth to the other. So he was the Rainbow Maker. Look at that picture. But when he saw the great arch bending across the sky, he would jump on it and ride into glory, singing all the way. Time in and time out, the Rainbow Rider made the arch, and time in and time out, he sang as he rode back and forth to glory. Can you see him riding on the rainbow? Aren't these illustrations just beautiful? Yet at last he grew weary, and as he grew weary, he grew lonely. So it happened that one time, in the time before time, the Rainbow Rider thought to himself, "I'll make me a friend." But he had never made a friend before, and he was not sure how to begin. He sat down by the edge of the desert, by the foot of the painted hills. He took some sand while he thought, and trickled it through his fingers, just to put away the time. And as the sand twinkled down, it made a pile. The pile grew big, and the pile grew wide. It made the Rainbow Rider think. "I can make my friend of sand," he thought. And he did. He pushed and he moulded, and he patted and he shaped, until at last there stood a sand friend by his side. "Welcome, friend," said the Rainbow Rider as he stuck out his hand. But his hand poked right through the sand friend's chest, and the sand collapsed into a sparkling mound. It made the Rainbow Rider cry, and the time came in and the time went out, and soon it was another time. Can you see the sand friend? The Rainbow Rider arose with the sun and cast his eyes up and down the desert. Pretty soon he saw something coming towards him, tumbling in front of the wind. It came more than halfway to him, then it stopped for the wind to catch its breath. I can't make a friend of sand, thought the Rainbow Rider, but I can make a tumbleweed friend. And he did. He walked towards the weed, and it tumbled towards him, and in the eye of his mind, the Rainbow Rider could see a face beginning to grow on the tumbleweed. 2 eyes, so, and a nose, so, and a mouth just starting to grin. "Welcome, friend," the Rainbow Rider called, and he stuck out his hand. Can you see the tumbleweed? But just then the wind gave a mighty whoop, and the tumbleweed sped by his outstretched hand, not so much as a howdy-do, and before the Rainbow Rider had time to call it back again, the tumbleweed friend had tumbled far and away down the desert sands and out of sight. There's the tumbleweed friend, can you see? It made the Rainbow Rider cry. And the time came in and the time went out, and soon it was another time. The Rainbow Rider arose with the sun and cast his eyes up the desert and down. At last he stopped looking between the brown earth and the brown rocks and settled on a green cactus growing prickly in the sand. I can't make a friend out of sand, and I can't make one of tumbleweed, but I can make a cactus friend, he thought, and he did. All the way down here, can you see? So here's the Rainbow Rider, and here's the cactus, all the way down there. The Rainbow Rider walked up to the cactus and set a desert flower on top. "That for a hat," he said. He found 2 black rocks for eyes, and a thorn made a straight, thin nose, and a twig stuck tight to that thorny face made a mouth. Then he stood back to look, and he liked what he saw. "Welcome, friend," said the Rainbow Rider, and he stuck out his hand. The cactus did not move towards him, so the Rainbow Rider walked up close and tried again. I like the desert flower. This time his hand got pricked on the cactus spines. And what good is a friend who hurts you and can't at least come halfway to where you are? So the Rainbow Rider cried again. Sand didn't work, tumbleweed didn't work, cactus didn't work, and it didn't look as if there was anything else to try. Nothing but tears of his own, falling onto the Rainbow Rider's hands like rain from the desert skies. Oh dear. That's really sad. Without thinking, the Rainbow Rider caught his own tears as he had the rain and bent them into an arch like his mighty hunting bow. And then, just because he had that shimmering, shining arch and nothing better to do, he flung it into the sky, where it hung from one end of the earth to the other. Can you see? All the way into the sky. Oh, this illustration. Then he leapt onto the rainbow and rode off once again into glory. But this time, because he'd made the arch of his own bright tears, glory was different. There was someone waiting at the rainbow's end, someone who moved towards him with a hand outstretched, someone who said, "Welcome, friend." Can you see him? Riding all the way to glory. And there's somebody waiting for him. And that was the time it all finally began. I really love this story. Actually kind of makes me cry a little bit because it's a little bit sad. But just, that last illustration is, I'm just going to show it you again because it's just so beautiful. It is honestly, look at it. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that such a stunning illustration? I really love it so much. I'm not sure whether it's the story that makes me cry or just the beautiful illustrations. Okay, so that's Rainbow Rider, for anybody interested. Okay, thank you for joining me. At 7 o'clock, we will, of course, be continuing with Mia Mayhem Stops Time. Thanks for joining. See you later.